Mhm.
And we're live. Hello, everyone. I'm Sybil Wilkes. Welcome to our headline show, and it is George Wallace Day. Hello, Mr. Wallace. How are you?
Good morning. Today is such a beautiful day because I don't even know how to start. I'm not going to talk much today, like I never do, but we got special show. This is one of the best shows ever. Already, I know this. And thank you, Sybil. And we're going to have a good time. And Sybil, you can introduce everybody else, my good friend. Well, let me introduce my friends that are
Yeah,
here.
go ahead.
Okay, first of all, a lady that we all admire, and some of us, she's new to us, but this lady is, I've been knowing her for a long time. She goes to church with me. She's an evangelist, Church of God in Christ. And she's a minority owner of the Milwaukee Bucks. Everybody's heard about her. So let's give her a big hand. Congratulations.
Nice.
Congratulations. You're the winner of the NBA championship. And God bless you. We're so happy that you're here. We'll talk more to you about that. And my good friend, Nikki Carr. You know her from Last Comic Standing, 14 weeks on NBC. One of the funniest ladies in the world. I don't know. We have never met personally. I don't think so. But she is one of the greatest ladies in the world. And my wife, my twin sister on the bottom of you, Sybil, Lunel. That's my twin sister. I can show you.
George, did you dye your hair white just to match Lunel?
She told me to. Dye like hers. Yes. Yes. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I'm very excited. This is a great panel that we have today. I thank you all so much for joining us here on What You Need to Know. And I just to give you all an idea of how excited I am, I'm wearing green. Now, I don't normally wear green, but I am doing it in honor of our guest.
Me
And
too.
I'm wearing green, and George is too, for the Milwaukee Bucks. Let me not confuse anyone. I am not wearing it for the Green Bay Packers. I'm a Chicago Bears fan.
No.
I
No,
know
no.
you're on the board. I know you're on the board, Evangelist Carter, but I am not wearing this for the Green Bay Packers. I am wearing this for the Milwaukee Bucks. So all
She's
praises.
from Chicago, Evangelist, so she
I'm
can't give in.
I
She can't
understand
give
the
in.
rivalry. I understand it.
Yes, I
Trust me.
know you do. I know you do. And there
But
is no
she's got to
rivalry.
know.
There's
She's got to know the people are crazy in Wisconsin. Why? You're on the board of the Green Bay Packers, 13 degrees below zero, and your people are standing in the stands with no shirt on and a piece of cheese on their head.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay, man. They win.
A win is a win.
That's it.
That's
They do
right.
that for
That's
luck.
right. And we do hate on the Packers, but that's because the Bears are such losers these days. So I understand. I understand. But still, and I am so proud just to have this opportunity to talk to you and to have you here with us today. And Nikki Carr, I was such a fan. I watched you on the season of
No.
Last Comic Standing. Absolutely, absolutely.
Wow.
And it does my heart so much good to see our friend Lunel.
Yes, we love you,
Always.
Lunel. We're glad you're back, and you have some news for us, Lunel. And we had a report on you last week. How are you today?
So
Tell us what
Lunel,
happened.
let me just set this up because we are all still in the season of the coronavirus, of the pandemic.
Thank you, Sybil.
And now it's gone to another level. The reports are off the charts in many parts of this country because of the Delta variant. But there are other diseases that are connected to the coronavirus, to the Delta variant, that people may not know about. But our friend Lunel brought us into this last week by discussing her health condition.
Yes.
Lunel, what was it?
Well, I don't have a sexually transmitted disease anymore. No, I had been to New York recently and I contracted the COVID virus. And because I truly believe, because I've been vaccinated since April, I didn't have, hi, I didn't have, I'm sitting on my I'm sitting on my front porch because my dog is being groomed in the groomer truck right there. That's why I got the mask and everything.
Bless
Because
your
in a
heart.
minute they're gonna bring me my dog. So I
Oh, the
believe
lives of the
that
rich and famous.
I believe that because I was vaccinated. Now this is what I believe. I believe that because I was vaccinated, I was able to overcome the virus symptoms in about 10 days, maybe a little less. Because I do have friends that you know that will remain nameless, which I think is part of the problem, is that people are treating this like the AIDS epidemic and they're not telling people.
Right.
I just put a post on my Instagram page the other day that a lot of my girlfriends are coming forward saying, "Yeah, I've got it." A lot of the men are not, which leads me to believe they're either not being tested or they're not sharing the information, just like they did not with AIDS, STDs, which leads the Black women in the community to be the highest risk group of
Group.
people with these things.
Affected by it, right?
So I shared my information, and I'm COVID free as of right now. And I'm
Amen.
boy, I kissed a man, and I liked it, and then he gave me the COVID. So I'll be keeping my tongue to myself. Pardon me, evangelist, but you know what it is.
I know that all of us have probably have a COVID story. George, I know that George and I have been doing this show since the pandemic practically began. It just all kind of started with me and my comedian friends from the Tom Joyner Morning Show. And so, George was one of the first to get his vaccination and things like that. And people all have stories that I'm sure, Nikki, you do, and perhaps you too, Dr. Daniels Carr. But I will tell you that, I quarantined with my good friends. I got the vaccination, and then people very close to me got the COVID. And it's scary that it's still now that, and we're in Texas. So all rules are, whatever rules there are, that doesn't make any difference in this state with a governor who doesn't believe in mask and separation and things like that. So and we're going through
Did you
this
cut the
now,
collar out?
right this moment. So it is a lot different for some of us in other parts of the country. What about you, Dr. Carter? How are you handling things?
Well, actually, believe it or not, I just recently authored a book called From Pandemic to Promise. And I took a historical perspective of pandemics that have occurred in the world all the way back from almost the beginning, and looked at each one to determine what were the similarities and traits and how it was managed, and just share some nuggets of wisdom for people in that book. And you can get it on my website, www.valeriedanielscarter.com. And
Yo, I'm sitting outside in the hood, and what's going on? Where are you guys at? Because
That's me. I'm on the 31st floor, but that's New York City cops are coming up here.
go ahead, George, and tell them how you enjoy quarantine. Because you don't want to be bothered with nobody, no way. So this was ideal for you.
They stopped. Okay.
You're all good. But yeah, it's a reality that we got to manage and deal with. And, I'm on line tonight with some of the greatest comedians in the world. They got to keep us laughing and keep us happy and keep us joyful as we all manage through this. I lost a brother to COVID. I lost an uncle to COVID. I've lost relatives and very close friends to this. And that was one of the reasons I took time. And on Tuesday nights, every Tuesday night, I talk to people about staying positive, even though we're going through a very difficult time.
Right.
And you dealt with it as a business owner.
Oh my God, have I dealt with it as a business owner? And when you have the number of employees that we have, you have to manage it strategically because every situation is different and the dynamics of it may be different. And so I can't even begin to write the chapters as it relates to managing it through a business. So, hey, you know what? But at the end of the day, we got to promise. And that's what I keep telling people. At the end of the day, something good is going to happen. And I do a correlation that talks about how we shift from the distress of it to the reality of recovery. And so I'm not going to go into it. I'll let you guys talk.
But let me say this, because some people may not know, but Sybil and Dr. Daniels Carr, Sybil mentioned the word business lady. A lot of people don't know what you do and the employees you mentioned that you have. You might tell us a little bit about what you own. You're in the food business and restaurant business.
Can you tell us about V&J Foods?
Oh, absolutely. I can tell you about V&J Foods. I started V&J Foods almost 40 years ago. The largest female operator of restaurants, multiple brands, multiple states. And I'm just grateful to the Lord for allowing me the opportunity to be able to manage it. We actually have 18 companies under the V&J Holdings umbrella, real estate divisions and things of that nature. Hey. So,
is it raining? Is it raining now?
It's raining on the evangelist for sure.
And what are some of those brands?
Auntie Anne Pretzel, Captain D's Seafood, Burger King, Pizza Hut, Nino Southern Sides.
All my favorites.
What else?
Don't forget the frozen yogurt.
My favorite frozen yogurt. Yes, absolutely wonderful brand. That's the brand actually that we own as an emerging brand to start young entrepreneurs in business. So it's just part of what we do. And now it's time for intergenerational transfer of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
I'm so blessed. I cannot walk to an airport without stopping at Auntie Anne's. And I've been going all my life, who the hell is Auntie Anne? But now I know. Now I know who Auntie Anne is.
Well, no, I'm not. Ann Belcher actually stopped. She's a phenomenal woman. She's long retired from the business now. But I promise you, most people can't walk through the airport without smelling that cinnamon.
That's right.
Or
I can't even eat it no more, and I miss it so bad.
You want to see some cinnamon? You want to see some cinnamon? Let me show you some cinnamon. I got some cinnamon over here. I got cinnamon over here. I love it.
George, before we get people hungry and before we lose them, I do want to continue the conversation about people dealing with the current situation and COVID. So, Nikki Carr, how about you?
I don't think I had it. I don't know. I'm really dark skinned, so I don't get sick much.
You still think that black people can't get it, huh?
No. I've been vaccinated.
Okay.
Yeah, the day before I was going on my first flight, I got vaccinated, and then people tried to talk me out of it. They was like, "You can't get a vaccination today and get on a plane tomorrow." I did. I was perfectly fine.
And what do you mean your first flight?
Since post-pandemic, my first flight post-pandemic, and I was nervous about it. Then people had me scared. I was like, I don't care what people say. I'm gonna go do this. I never had no sickness of any kind, so I just feel like I got an extra shield.
That's why I'm sitting in the sun trying to get this vitamin D.
Yeah. I've been eating that vitamin C and sucking on D batteries, so I'm good.
I'll let that one go. Okay, keep going.
Boy, if the evangelist wasn't here,
we go on that.
But it's me though. It's me, so
Lunell, before we lose you, because I know that you got your dog and you have other things going on. But what were your symptoms that made you go to the doctor, and was it different from what you thought the COVID would present? Or did you think you had COVID based upon your symptoms?
No, I actually was with someone when we were all testing, and they tested positive. And I had kissed them the night before, so I knew what was coming.
Oh.
And it was a little lethargic, a little extra tired. It's my turn. And and then I had a headache that lasted for like 2 days till I could get to some good old BC powder.
BC.
Just know that BC powder will cut through COVID, okay? And so I took that. Then I never ran a fever, but I did feel hot, but I never ran a fever. I took my temperature several times. And I did lose my sense of smell and sense of taste for about 3 days, and I had a bit of a cough. After lots of, I got herbalist girls, it's LA, so everything's very herbally. So I had my girlfriend make me up a batch of like detox teas and stuff, and I drank all that. I upped my zinc and my B12. I was already taking C and D, but I wasn't taking B12 and zinc. So I upped that. And then, there's the old nasty um, black seed oil that tastes like STP motor oil. It was horrible. But it took me back to the old castor oil days when my mom used to line
I
all
was just
eight
getting
of
ready to
us
say
up.
that. I was
Right.
just getting ready to say that. The castor oil back
Castor
in the day,
oil
every morning.
and cod
Yeah.
liver
Cod
oil.
liver oil.
And cod liver oil. It was horrible, but I took
Mhm.
that, and I just did all the stuff that people say do, and because I truly believe that it's because I was vaccinated, I was able to sail through, and in about a week
Right.
or so, I got tested, and I'm negative. I have
Yeah.
friends now that are in their third week of hell. They're in their
Mm.
Mm.
third week of sweating and everything. And what do they all three have in common? They're not vaccinated. And these are
Mhm.
famous
Mm.
people that you would know. I was very, the white man trying to kill us at first too, because
Mm-hmm.
this government does not have a history of caring about African American health. True. They have a history of experimenting on us. So I felt the same way everybody else did. But my sister is a nurse. She wasn't having it. She took me to Ebenezer Baptist Church in Fort Worth. I think they sprinkled some holy water in my vaccine.
Yeah.
And I also feel like since all the healthcare workers had to have it first, even racists need healthcare workers. Why would they try to kill all the healthcare workers? So, we don't know. I might grow teeth out of the back of my head in 2 years. Who knows? But I got the vaccine, and I think
Yeah.
it helped me. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So SARS is it's a respiratory disease, right?
Yes.
And so is it a cousin to? Is it a kin to the coronavirus? From what I understand.
Oh, yes. Uh-huh. And it, does affect your breathing. I had a cough, but I still am a little phlegmy, but I never got the rumbling
Mm-hmm.
mucus that a lot of the unvaccinated people are getting.
Right.
And mind you, I'm not here to do a commercial for the vaccine. You do what you want to, but if you
Right.
like to be sick and flat on your back, don't get vaccinated.
Right.
If you want to get your life back and get back to living again very quickly, then the vaccine would help. I believe. I
Right.
mean, at this point, uh, there's a lot of venues that are not going to allow you
Yeah.
to
Right.
enter unless
Yeah.
you show your vaccination card.
Right.
And
Yeah.
being in the hood, George is in New York. I mean, is in Atlanta. Where you at, George?
I'm in New York City.
George is in New York. I'm in LA. There's no lack of fake vaccine cards going
That's
around.
yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
It
Facts.
is sad that you can buy them just like you can buy a handicap plaque or anything else. But
Right.
you're only cheating yourself
Yeah.
because you and your fake
Right.
vaccine card are going to be flat on your back if you don't take care of yourself. That's all I'm
That's
going to say
right.
about
But
that.
they got the
And
thing that you scan. How do you, huh?
Nikki and George and myself, when you were talking, Evangelist, about how you took the hit with your employees, we were completely out of work.
Oh my God, it
Period.
was devastating.
Period.
It
Every
was
savings we
devastating.
had went just down like that because we were completely, absolutely, positively out of work, except we started doing things like this. I started a YouTube show called Hey Lunel every Wednesday during the corona just to keep myself in touch with our fans. But those clubs were closed, dark.
Yeah.
Well, I still haven't worked.
Hey,
That's why I'm talking to
Lunel.
Dr. Daniels Carter because I might need a job.
Hey,
I second
Lunel.
that emotion.
I want to thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it and for sharing with everybody about your adventures through this. And
So who told you I had somewhere to go?
we,
Like
I,
I've marked this time out in my day, but you cutting me out? Is that what you're doing? Because I can go.
no, I don't want to cut you out. I just, I thought perhaps your dog, or you were feeling, and your strength and everything like that. But
See,
you're
you
more
know
than
how
Well,
good
welcome.
you are.
You're more than welcome to
I can
stay.
I can multitask. It's,
Okay.
I'm not watching the dog. The dog's being watched. So.
She didn't know how good you
Don't
were.
nothing
I just
stop
said, let's
Linnell.
bring her right
Nothing.
in.
No,
Let's just
no.
bring her in.
You know, Linnell,
Nothing.
I'm your fan, so I want you here. I absolutely do. Absolutely do. All right, you guys. So let's talk about what we really need to know. What's really going
What you
on?
really need to know.
Really.
Really.
We are in the midst of real royalty in terms of this businesswoman. And as George has alluded to the evangelist,
I did what?
she is a preeminent business owner in this country. Among the restaurants and businesses that you own, as we talk about, and you own this with your brother. This was you and your brother got into business together, Evangelist.
Well, let's get this straight. I borrowed some money from my brother to get in business.
Oh,
He hadn't worked a day in the restaurant ever.
Mm.
But he was my partner, absolutely.
She says, let's get this straight right now. I'm the boss.
I have done all the heavy lifting.
okay. And that is not uncommon for most women and most black women, is it? It's
You want something done right? Ask a woman. Oh, sorry, George.
I'm still here. Go ahead.
So Evangelist, one of the things that grabbed my attention in the very beginning is that you are a graduate of the real LU. That would be Lincoln University in Jefferson City, Missouri.
Absolutely.
That's where my grandfather was president.
Wow.
And so, and my mom went to Lincoln. And so I was like, oh, this is so great. This is, and the more I read about you and then watching the Bucks go through the process and everything, you are living my dream. You really are. Because from a very long time period, I wanted to own a professional team, sports
Wow.
team. And live in Hawaii. I wanted a football team in Hawaii. I know the logistics don't make sense, Evangelist, but God will make a way. And I'm sure at some point this is gonna. But I think what I want to talk about is, are we all able to live our dreams? Certainly, I don't know what your dream was initially, but have you surpassed it? Are you there, or is there more to do?
I'm never going to stop dreaming.
Hey.
I'm never going to come off the wall.
Hey.
Because what God has for me, I want to capture it all. When I die, the world won't owe me nothing.
Talk to me. Come on.
Nothing.
There you go.
So I just tell people there's a formula for success, and if you operate within that formula, you can't help but win. And so I lived, all of my life understanding that I was always going to be the last one called. I was always going to have the shortest dollar. I was always going to be in a position where I had to prove 10 times over. So I knew that going in the door, but I didn't walk in the door with that on my mind, or that was not my attitude when I walked through that door. I walked through the door like my dollar was just as long as yours.
Exactly.
And did you learn that growing up in Milwaukee? Was that a part of the whole dynamic in your family?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My mother and my father,
There you go.
I cannot thank God enough for them, because they instilled that within me. And that's why I'm so committed, especially to orphans and young adults who they don't have that type of structure. That's why I'm so committed to trying to engage with them, because I know the value that it brings.
Right.
And
Were
the
your
goosebumps.
parents
And
business
Nikki-
people?
Say it again.
Were your parents business people also? Were they business people? Your
Yeah,
parents?
my dad was the first African American engineer that owned his own refrigerating heating company.
Wait a second. You got these smart people, almost said smart A people. Sybil, your dad was president of the university.
No, my grandfather. My daddy was a
Yeah,
Chicago fireman,
Oh, God, Lord.
which was really smart because he wasn't a
That's smart.
policeman. Because he wasn't a
As a
policeman.
matter of fact, that's hot. Oh, sorry.
So, Nikki, let me ask you, Nikki, are you living your dream? Have you surpassed what you thought, or are you like the evangelist? You're never going to stop dreaming.
I'm never gonna stop dreaming, but I'm not there yet. I gotta hurry up because I'm 58, so I gotta hurry up.
But you haven't been in the business that
No,
long.
not at all.
I've been in the business 24 years. Come October 14th.
That don't mean nothing to us. 24
Don't
years ain't
mean
nothing. No, you're just
Somebody,
a kid. You're still a kid.
I'm a
Still,
baby.
yeah.
I know. I know. But
I
I'm
know.
coming.
I love it.
I'm still
I love to
dreaming.
hear you say that. Say it again. I know.
I know. I'm still dreaming. Dream.
Well,
Yeah, I'm
it's good to
dreaming.
dream. Like, and nobody, I don't know about you, Lunel, but I know I'm living my dream and I love life. And I tell you what, when you do nothing, all I do is just, excuse me, evangelist, but
Yeah,
I'm a
no, no.
BS. Okay, I didn't say it. I said, all I do is talk and tell lies. She go to church. She go to church. She know lies. She know more lies than I do. She go to church. So, and we go to the same church, by the way. So, so living a dream. I tell you what, nobody could be more blessed than me. I'm like you, Dr. Carter. If I
Amen.
die tomorrow, the world owes me nothing. Everything I could ever think of. All I ever want to do is work Las Vegas, and I did that 40 years ago.
And you still can't get it right. You
And
keep
that's
going
different.
back
Oh.
year after year.
And I'm not bringing these people with me. Lunel is coming to Vegas. We worked together in Las Vegas already. And Nikki's coming to Las Vegas with me. And Dr. Carter.
I'm already here. I'm waiting on you.
They're
I
throwing me
live
off
here
the
now.
stage. I'm just gonna sit in the audience and laugh.
That's right.
it.
And
That's
all
right.
the people, all of the evangelists come to my show. And, from our bishop to Bishop Blake to Bishop Sheard to everybody. And you got to come. All of the George Rogers, before she passed away, they all come to my show. And you're an evangelist, so I'm going to make you stand up. I don't know what you heard about me.
Yeah.
But I make all of the preachers stand up for 15, 20 minutes. Y'all need to know how it feels. Y'all got us doing it every Sunday. So
If I may interject,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not coming to Las Vegas. I'm already in Las Vegas. George actually walked me out the first day of my residency in Las Vegas at
yeah,
the Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club. And whether you want to believe it or not, George and I do different shows, but they come to my they come to my show too, George.
oh, church, hey, Lunel, church people love to hear cussing. Church people love to hear
They
cussing.
sure do.
We got some of the biggest preachers in the world come to our shows on the ship. They love it. Sybil will tell you, and some people you know.
Yeah. Hello,
Yeah.
Dr. Bobby Jones. How you doing?
So, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Hey,
Bobby
now.
don't have nothing to do with what's going on right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you said a little too much.
Hey, Lunel, let me ask you, how's your dream looking? Where are you in terms of capturing your dreams?
Well, on one hand, I have reached and am still in the process of reaching more dreams that I have for myself.
Mm.
I'm doing very well. I'm very popular. I work, and I'm very blessed. On the other hand, I'm very disappointed in the industry, in as much as the people with bad behavior are doing way better than the talented
That always,
people.
yes,
The
yes.
I've noticed that's been the case
the
since I
you know
started.
I've never had a show. I've never been a regular on a show. I've never done a special, and there are people whose behavior is horrendous, who are making way more money and getting way more opportunities
But
than I am.
that's something I teach all the comedians. Don't you worry about that. You stay on your path. There's a different path for every
Well,
career. And you
I,
just
I, I
be
never,
you.
I never said I was worried about it.
Okay.
I was just making an observation. And to me, that is sad because that's what perpetuates bad behavior in our communities, is what they see, unfortunately, on television. And the women that are doing the bad stuff are the ones who are being greatly rewarded, while Nikki, who puts in work and also is a representative for her community, we're still, striving and working and stuff like this. But I think there's something to be said for being able to hold your head up in your community and with your family and stuff like that. So I will take the respect of that in the trade off of having the more money and doing all that kind of stuff. I also want to say that is still extremely sexist in our business because the females do not get the opportunities
Right.
commercially or we don't get the branding opportunities, we don't get the nollie trucks, we don't
Right.
get to do commercial, we don't get the opportunities that the men do, and I think that is ridiculous I can greatly sell a Denali quicker than Kevin Hart because I'm a woman. I have groceries and children.
Right.
And
Oh.
Kevin need a step stool to get into a Denali. So why would we not be able to get these opportunities? And for that, I'm greatly disappointed. That's where people like the evangelists come in with their business plans and their business opportunities that they can extend, management opportunities to more women, and can
Right.
extend, more opportunities to women in the culture that are not being extended to us right now.
I agree. And as we move into what's in our newsletter and what you need to know, I just want to, because I do want to talk about Women's Equal Pay Day, which we did have Black Women's Equal Pay Day this week.
Yeah.
And so what you need to know, our newsletter, for those of you who don't know, Nikki, you joining us for the first time, Dr. Valerie Daniels Carter, you joining us. We have a newsletter called What You Need to Know, and we started it just before we ended the Tom Jordan Morning Show. And we take from it what I learned from Tom and our staff. We super serve the African American community, and we curate stories, news stories, and other items in the newsletter that appeal and are for Black people. So amongst them, we talk a lot of politics. We also talk fitness. We talk wellness. We have a little known Black history fact. You have been one.
Right. Yes.
We have the HBCU Corner, which I'm sure you could appreciate as well. And we also have a moment of uplift where we have a jewel from our friend Yogi. And so we have Yogi's Jewels to leave people with a word, if you will, of inspiration. And so starting today in today's newsletter, we did talk about the Democrats facing crucial August deadline to pass the voting rights bill. Tomorrow is the 56th anniversary of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and talking about what we still need to do and how we're going to pass these two bills for the People Act as well as the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. And it seems like we're at a standstill. It seems like we're just treading water. And I'm just wondering from all of you, and Evangelist, if you'd like to jump in here, we're not making the progress that the people who work so hard for us, they got us so far. And now we're just kind of, like I said, we're treading water.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. And shame on us. Because at the end of the day, people gave their lives in order for us to be able to be where we are today. And we have a responsibility to find and embrace people with leadership. The problem is we got to find the right leadership to get it done. When the Asians had their issues last year, within 6 months, they were at our legislative tables and had things done, signed, and passed. Yes. So we've got to get on board. And I'm just telling you, and literally, it's going to take all of us uniting and coming together to make it happen. And, I'm committed. I'm 100% committed to making it happen, but it's going to take all of us. But
some of our problems are not us, it's them.
Right.
Most of our problems are them, not us. Go ahead, Luna.
Might I say that since, I think that if you look back at when Obama got elected, the young people really got involved. They really got involved and they drove the cart. And I think that if more celebrities, athletes, and entertainers do not step up, the ones that the young people are engaged with, if they don't get involved, then it's not going to happen. Because the people who are watching this show are already woke. It's the people who are not watching that we need to be trying to reach. You understand?
Right.
And
it's going to get better. It's taking a little time. Once again, we got to always go back to voting. And that's what's happening. Every year we got more voters. And coming up this year, we're going to have more voters, better than last time. And once we get to the place where even the young whites, young Asians, and everybody, once they start to show their power in voting, we will get some of those people into even the Republican Party will come along with us. That's what we got to do. Yeah, we just got to vote and get more of us in office because these stupid governors are crazy.
Yep.
Well, it's not just the governors, Georgia, and we can't just talk about the statewide offices. We can't just talk
This is
about the
true.
federal offices.
The
We
local.
have to talk about the local as well,
Yes,
because
yes.
all politics is local. And if we get people involved in the local, then perhaps they will make things better on their end, and then
Yes.
move up and
Yes.
up and up. And especially for young people, and making them understand how important their input is, their activity is, whether they want to be on the school board, whether they want to run for a state controller. All of these things make a big difference, and understanding what the roles are and how to make life better for all of us.
Yep, and there's a role for everybody. You can make up a dance to go viral to send a message. So that's the way the world is right now. The message can get out. There's no excuse.
And actually, one of the young ladies in that viral video is on our show every week. She's a social justice activist.
That's
and
what's
so
up.
and so that's really cool, Nikki, that that we're talking about that.
It's
and
true.
we just have got whatever you want to do, Evangelist, we've
Anything.
got to encourage them. And for us, and I said, check your voter registration, because what they're trying to do
Yeah.
is make sure that we're not on the rolls. If they took us off the rolls, then we've got to re-register. And take someone with us to register. Make sure that they're on there. Take them to vote. All of these
Right.
things. And if they say we can only vote between 12, let's just line up. And if
Be
you're in
there.
line, if you're in
11:59.
line by 12:29, you can vote.
Yeah.
And so we have to get a little. And I don't know if you're about the dirty tricks that we're known for in Chicago, Evangelist, but
I want to hear.
I really believe that that there is a segment of a party that wants to play by the rules, including our president. And I think that we can't afford to play by the rules the way that we used to, because the rules are all different, and they're playing checkers. We're playing checkers. They're playing
playing
chess.
chess, yeah.
And it's
Sybil.
a dirty game of chess.
Sybil, if every minister took their congregation to the polls,
That's
we
it.
would solve the issue that day. We've
That
got
day.
to get it will solve it that day. You got large congregations all across this country. And if every minister said, I want every member of my congregation to go with me to the polls today, we blow the system away. So
why has that
simple
not
as that.
happened? Why has that not happened?
Well, I can't speak to why it hasn't happened. I just know it hasn't happened, and somebody's got to speak to those leaders. And
Okay,
it
and
doesn't
if
matter.
they're leaders, why do they not have the same mindset that you do?
Because I'm a true leader.
Hey.
Okay.
But what do you mean by every minister? Do you mean all ministers, or just African American, us ministers, or what do you mean by that?
If every pastor that's over a congregation said on whatever day the election is, I want every member of my congregation to go with me to the polls. And we're going to be at the polls from whatever time they tell us to be at the polls. You would be amazed at what would happen.
It sounds like you're talking about just us black people.
No, I'm talking about
Everybody?
every minister.
Okay.
Because everybody doesn't go to church. So you're going to have
Right.
people voting whatever.
You're
But
talking
you
about
have a
Paul
high
White.
propensity of people that will follow their minister.
Yeah. Like Paula White, people like that.
Exactly.
Even in comedy, we encourage them to vote. Make sure you vote.
Absolutely.
Get that vote in. Get
That's
these-
right, Nikki.
That's
But
it.
every
You have to.
comedian
Anytime you got an
has
audience.
some kind of spiritual leader. Every actor has some kind of spiritual lead. I, as a businesswoman, I have a spiritual mentor. We all have somebody that we look up to. If those guys and ladies could coalesce and say, this is what, just imagine the power of every black church on one Sunday, put all that money in the black banks.
Right.
Come
And
on.
one Sunday, we could turn
Well, you
around
know-
the financial system.
Well, Evangelist, there used to be a time where going to church was just a part of life. But the parents that are in our communities right now are not taking the children to church. That's just a fact. They're not
I
doing
admit,
it.
I never took my kids ever.
Yeah, but they're going somewhere, and that's part of our problem because we've lost the foundation and structure
Yes.
of what family and the totality of life is. The totality of life is not just your work life. It is your personal life. It is your spiritual relationship. It is your family life, and it is your personal time. And you got to have a balance. You got to understand how to manage every aspect of. Okay, you all got me going now. See, I was gonna let y'all get me going.
No.
I do preach faith and stuff like that to my children, but I just never took them to church because of things that happened in my life involving clergy. You know what I'm saying? So I never trusted. I never trusted those kind of people to give me God's word. I stay home and call him myself. And sometimes he don't answer. Sometimes I do it. God, I'm just gonna leave this right here. When you get around to it, call me back. And that's that, because I know the world. He busy.
Nikki, let me ask you, because I read something you said. You said you don't ask God for miracles or opportunities. Is that right?
I don't.
You don't pray for him.
I ask for opportunities to make my own miracles. You know what I mean? And that's all I can do. But I keep my children. My children are spiritual, but we don't necessarily go to church. When I was a kid, they took me to church. Okay. But in growing up, things happen. I noticed things and I experienced things that let me say, I don't trust
whose
nobody.
siren was that? Whose siren was that?
It doesn't matter, George.
It wasn't mine.
It
wasn't mine. Yeah, there were things that happened in my life that I saw, that I experienced, that made me not trust clergy people to give me the word. Because I think you're supposed to be. I think you're supposed to be pure.
That's it, evangelist. Yeah.
You still have a foundation. You have a faith base. And that is critically important.
Amen.
And so I just want to make sure we're understanding.
It's
not the physical building that makes the church.
That's what I'm saying. But
it's
there's a lot of
influencers that are in that facility.
Right. Exactly.
Well, also, being the senior person on this show, let me make it perfectly clear. These young people are making it happen. Let's not neglect that fact. They are young. They are voting, and they're doing this damn thing, and they're really making it happen more. We can sit around and complain if we want to, but the young people are really making a difference. They are voting. They are signing up in colleges. They are the number one voting group right now. So we got to give them credit for what is happening. Young people made it happen. Stacey Abrams is still considered young. All of these college students are doing things. Thank God for these young people. If it were not for the young people, well, if it were not for all of us, we're doing it. So
thank you for not calling them millennials. Thank you. I'm scared of millennials.
Let me talk about another story, and this has been something we've been doing in the newsletter for the last couple of weeks. Have you all been watching the Olympics?
Yeah.
Yes.
You have been.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Simone Biles, I'm going to say this on the get out of the way. People were angry with her. People were angry with her.
I see.
Lemuel, you can't talk to 5 people while you're doing the show. But Simone Biles said, well, just think about it.
Thank you.
Everybody was angry with her for taking a day of her mental health. How many of us have called in and said, I don't feel like coming in today?
Right.
You mean squirm me?
Yeah. How many? Not enough of us do take mental health days, George.
Exactly.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Y'all would never see me again if I took mental health days. Whatever happened to these? She's taking a mental health day, and she didn't come back. Yeah.
And Nikki, come back. Your mental health. Come on back. I have been really fascinated not only by that. We had Naomi Osaka, we had Simone Biles, we had another Simone Raven Saunders, and we had a number of young people who talked about their mental health checks that they have, that they have had to establish with themselves. And so in the Olympics, these are Olympians, but there have been some incredible stories. Yeah. And young Black people who have been going out there. We had in our newsletter today, we had the story of a young Black woman who became the first African American woman to win the gold medal.
That's right.
In
that's
wrestling.
Black girl magic.
In wrestling.
Wrestling.
That's mental health for you right there.
Yeah.
Taking out your frustrations on the mat and winning. That's what's up.
and
I need to wrestle somebody right now. That's it. That would make me feel good. A body slam. Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
And Evangelist, are you watching the basketball? The USA basketball team?
Yeah, I'm as much as I can. But absolutely, it's just the Olympics are a great time. It brings
Yeah.
different ethnicities together to compete at a very high level. So I enjoy when I can sit down and watch.
I
Yeah,
wanted to be in the Olympics. I just want to be a finisher. Just finish. That's it. I don't want to do none of the stuff leading up to it. I was practicing my finish.
It is a great moment.
I can finish. Okay.
Yeah, it's a great moment to also visit the Olympics. I don't know whether you guys have visited and been a part of the Olympics. I've been to 5, and I just think it's awesome just being in the present. 1996 Atlanta, Los Angeles back then the day. I went to Barcelona and Sydney, Australia, and it's just great to be a part of the real Olympics that I have. If you ever get a chance to do it, do it. Not only the Olympics, I'm so proud of LeVar Burton hosting Jeopardy this week.
What?
That freaked me out. He was so good. I tell you
I
what,
didn't even see that.
he's not going to get the
They
job.
should-
but look at that.
yeah.
They should
Unfortunately,
have given him the permanent job. Really.
yeah.
But-
Unfortunately, I think the fix was in before he even picked up the microphone.
Yeah, the boss was already knew he had the job, but the boss is the one that got the
executive
position.
producer.
Yeah, executive.
And that was and so that was a part of our entertainment. Just wanted to talk about that for a second. In terms of LeVar Burton doing a phenomenal, and I was one of those that signed the petition and and tweeted and did all that stuff. And he has done a really fine
So
job.
was he good or what? Was he good or what? He was
I know
good.
he was doggone good on Sesame Street. So yeah,
But I got to tell you, I've been in love with LeVar Burton since Kunta Kinte. So
me too.
just absolutely
Yes, it did.
love
I
it.
didn't like him, Kunta Kinte, because I would have changed. I would have said Kunta Kinte after they hit me one time. I'd have changed mine. One time. I've been going.
But I wanted to send him a foot. I know I did that. I wanted to send him a foot.
Toby, the man I found.
As we wrap up, I'd like to thank you all, and Nikki, I'd like to invite you back. I think that we haven't had enough time to talk to you. But how can people follow you?
Follow me on social media. Don't follow me in person because that's creepy. I'm at comedian Nikki Carr, and I'm always there for you. Always.
Hey,
you
And if you live
Lunel.
in Vegas, I'll be at the LA Comedy Club next week from the 11th to the 15th, 6 o'clock show, headlining every day. Come.
There you go.
And Dr. Valerie Daniels Carter, are you on social media?
I am every Tuesday night. Power to Win, the reality of recovery, Instagram, Facebook, and they tell me to say like. I'm learning all of this stuff. All these dynamics. For years, I just stayed in my little space, and now they've drawn me out here, and so they tell me that whether it's on my YouTube channel, my website. They tell me to tell everybody to like it. So I guess that means a whole
Come to
lot.
like it and share it.
Like it and share it. Like and share. And you know what? That's exactly what they tell me. So everybody like and share me, please.
Amen.
Okay.
Yep,
And
I'm on
Dr. Daniels Carter, tell your brother that does nothing. He does nothing, but he can dance. I love to watch him dance on that stage. Okay, yeah, he's a great minister. Love him. Thank you so much. And Lunel, you're welcome back.
Thank you so much, Lunel. We appreciate you. I hope you're on the road to full recovery.
Thank you. Shall I share my social media?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am. Yes,
I
you
want to
shall.
go back. I want to go back. Nikki gives people too much credit. It's NIKKICARR. Okay, that's Nikki.
Oh, Nikki. Gotcha.
She didn't spell it, and people, you'd be surprised. So,
thank you.
Mine
That's
is
nice.
yes.
That's
Mine
nice.
is at Lunel.
Because I spelled it
Hang on,
NICKEY.
George. Go ahead, Lunel.
Mine is just at Lunel at LUENELL on Instagram. You ain't gotta follow me no place else. That's it. That'll let you know
Exactly.
everything you need to know.
That's it.
Thank you. And
And you follow me right here at Sybil every Thursday night, George Wallace. And also, I will be at the AHA Awards in Las Vegas, September 4 in Las Vegas. I'll be honored as a comedian of the Year Legendary Award. And the book, Bullshit, and whatnot. And evangelist and whatnot is a little different, okay?
And as I mentioned,
I'll be sure not to go for that one. I'll go for that one.
and as I promised, we close out the show with Yogi's Jewels. Today's jewel is surround yourself with people who can help you grow into the person you are destined to be.
Amen.
I'm on my way to Milwaukee because I know somebody that can help you along the way.
And
Well,
if
I'm
there
on my
is-
way to Lunel house. I want to be Lunel when I grow up.
You might want to talk to the evangelist about that one.
I
All of you
already know,
must come.
sis. I
All of
already
you,
know.
y'all must come back. All of you must come back.
Thank you all so much. And it's
Yeah.
been
Thank
an
you so much
honor and
for
a
having
pleasure to
me.
have all of you. Thank you. Come back, please.
Bless
Have
you.
a good one. Thank you.
My
Thank you.
joy.
God
And you
bless
all
you.
are all welcome to Milwaukee.
All right.
Thank
and I love
you.
you.
Hey.
I love you,
You
and there's
said it now.
absolutely nothing you can do about it because my
There you
love
go.
for you does not require your permission.